Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the fan club. It is your boy D Bros, Dan Brosnan in the building. Welcome to a special episode. I have a very special guest, my buddy Jimmer Lang in the building. Say what's up, bro.
What's up, bro?
So, hey, before we get into this special episode, there's a special gaming edition. We're going to be talking about a potential new PlayStation system. We will get into that in a second. But we wanted to take this special opportunity to tell you guys about our free giveaways. It is Free Comic Book Day coming up May 4th. And the fan club has teamed up with Dyersville Comic and Games to give away over $150 in toys and comics, superheroes. We got some cool stuff. We got some Aquaman special figures. We got some Into the Spider-Verse guns. We got some really cool stuff. Why don't you go check that out on our Facebook and YouTube. And also while we're here, I want you guys to check out our Patreon account. This is your chance to get special access at the fan club. You get to see things before they come out, get special entries into our contest before we even post them. We're going to have more details soon, but go check us out, www.patreon.com/thefanclub. Okay, guys, now let's get right into it. We just plugged ourselves as much as we possibly could. So Sony has put out an announcement that they are working on their new PlayStation system. Now, they have not confirmed the name. We don't know if it's going to be the PS5 or what it's going to be, but this is going to run on a solid state drive, okay? For the people that don't know what that is, why don't you explain to them what a solid state drive is, Jimmer?
Right. So, as far as the memory goes, that's one of the most important parts of the new system, but it's definitely not the star. But this one I did want to talk about in particular, just because I want to alliterate how fast of a difference it is between your normal hard drive, which currently works on your PlayStation 4, your Xbox One, your Nintendo Switches. They're all using hard drives, or hard drive discs, which are kind of they've been the standard for a number of years. The solid state drive is a bit different. It has no moving parts, and so the information which needs to be found on the disc is readily available at all times. So that means for the consumer, for your average person, is those long loading times that you're used to, loading screens, are going to be a thing of the past very soon. We heard one particular test that was run between current PS4 hardware and PS4 hardware running this new solid state drive. Loading times being reduced from 15 seconds to 0.8 seconds. 0.8, which is ridiculous. Jeez. I mean, like, you're talking about no loading screen at all. Like, it'll fade to black, fade, and then fade back in, and you're there.
And that was always the dream, because I know as we were growing up, we felt like the 8-bit, 16-bit, even 64-bit systems really didn't have that much of a loading screen. It was when we got into Xbox, PS2, GameCube.
It's when you started using disc-based games.
Exactly.
The cartridge games were different because they ran
on a chip.
Their information was it was all stored, ready to go, and it was very quick stuff. I mean, you really didn't see any loading times with that stuff. But when you started getting up to the discs in particular, if anybody here, and I'm sure nobody's ever heard of this who's going to be listening, but there used to be a N64 disc drive. It had a very limited run in the United States. It was much more popular in Japan.
Okay.
But you could take games that were made both for the cartridge and for the disc drives. Like Super Mario 64 had a disc drive version. Had some updated features, it looked a little bit nicer. The audio in particular was much better.
Yeah.
But you also had these very small load times that just randomly would, when you go through doors and whatnot, you'd notice the game would freeze for like half a second, and then which wouldn't happen on the cartridges. You would just get a little bit of a load time. It seems something with disc architecture in particular, probably because the disc has to move for the lens to find its information.
Well, you remember being a kid, here switching from track 2 to 17, and you could hear the lens moving all the way there. That's the technology that we had in the 90s and 2000s, where it was fast, but it wasn't that fast. We were still relying on a movement of a lens.
Right.
Now it's kind of a mixture of new school and old school, because it's like they took the old school job of like the cartridge and the chip, but now we're making a new high-tech version of it and calling it a solid drive. I love it. I think it's going to be great. Now, here's my question. Do you think this is going to be the PlayStation 5, or do you think that this is something different? Do you think they're coming out with a different concept idea, or do you think that this is for sure the next PlayStation in line?
So, according to the original article, which was released by Wired magazine, the system is using very similar to the PlayStation 4 architecture.
Okay.
So what that means, there are a lot of great things, in particular backwards compatibility.
Okay.
Should be, if that's true, should be fully available. They shouldn't be able to pull, and if Sony comes out and says no backwards compatibility, but we're working with the PlayStation 4 architecture, that'd be suspicious, because they're trying to pull a fast one. That's where you see they make a lot of money off of remasters.
Okay.
So backwards compatibility means less money to be made on making old games for the new architecture. So, although I wouldn't be surprised, because consumer opinion on that is usually pretty low. I wouldn't be surprised if they did make backwards compatibility fully available. So what I think we're getting is, essentially a PS5. Is essentially a PS5, but as far as the name goes, I'd be a little disappointed if they just went with PS5. It'd be nice if they named it something different, but yeah, you're expecting a new PlayStation.
Okay, and I'm excited because we heard Xbox is already working on their new one. Nintendo is just swimming in the pools of money it made from the Switch. I think it's great for games. Everything is moving at the speed of light these days. It just seems like yesterday the PlayStation 4 came out, and now we got a new system. So I'm excited about it, man. I want to thank my special guest, James Lang. Always a pleasure having you, bro. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll see you next time here on the Fan Club. Thank you so much. D-Bros out.